Hi, I wanted to run through something real quick. I did get some pictures off our old phone. I did tell you before in one of my videos that we had our air conditioner running off of my solar setup. Now this is the way I did it. Um, right here, this is a 5000 BTU air conditioner. My charger controller was up here. I had a DC light and my large Cobra 2500 watt inverter. Now this is a Frigidaire 5000 watt. Unfortunately, my 1100 watt inverter would not run this for whatever reason. Hey, Midnight. I don't know if you can see Midnight. He's getting in the way here. I'm going to run through this real quick. This has a sliding window that slides sideways. Alright? I'm going to walk you through how I did this. And hopefully Midnight doesn't mess everything up because he's walking on everything over there on mine. Midnight, really? I don't know if you... No, Midnight. Midnight. Midnight's just being a stinker. I apologize. He's the demon from... Kitty from, you know, H-E double heck. I have my camera sitting on a board and he's fixing to get on the board and hopefully he doesn't break it. Right here we have a solid piece of plywood on the back here. Midnight, get down. Hey, you're falling. I apologize for that. This is a solid board. I'll show it to you from the outside too. On the inside, I have one piece of plywood here with a large section cut out of the center. And I only left about 1.5 to 2 inches all the way around the top, both sides, and the bottom. And I have big lag bolts going through from the outside to the inside. I will show you that. Now this is how we used to run our air conditioner. We did unfortunately get rid of the Frigidaire. We gave it away when we got our new higher. And our higher is a piece of junk. And our Frigidaire actually worked better. So don't just assume your inverter is going to run the air conditioner you have. Because the air conditioner we have now, my 1100 watt Power Bright would run that without an issue, but it would not run this Frigidaire. Alright? That's something to consider if you're wanting to run an air conditioner off of solar. Here's my 4 100 watt panels. Now you're going, wait, this is your yard. Actually it is. This building here, it used to be a house, and before that it was like a radio station or something like that. They converted to apartments. And when we first moved here, we were on the end apartment, which is right there. And now we're around this corner right here, around the side, and we're more or less in the middle apartment on the back end. Here's my 2 batteries. Now this is before I did any regular updates or upgrades on my solar system. These are jumper cable wire. And what I did was I doubled them. If you're going to use jumper cable, double them. You want as much power going through these cables as possible, especially if you're carrying a heavy load. That's one reason I'm always telling people to go with like 2 gauge welder's wire, which is what I have now, because it has more wire basically than these 2 cables. And there's my Everstar batteries. Here's the outside. Now right here, this is actually one solid board, even behind here, that I cut a hole through for my air conditioner to slide through. And then what I did was, before I put any of this other stuff on, I put that on to help keep it from leaking in the air conditioner. Right here is the solar power lines coming in straight from the solar panels. My charger controller's up in here somewhere, and I'll go back to the inside picture. Then it comes out this side, goes down into my batteries, and then the wires come in to my inverter. Now here I only have one set of jumper cable wires. I should have doubled that if I was going to use jumper cable. And here's another view. Now remember, this window slides side to side. So this is one solid board. It goes over here, and the center part of this window frame is right about here, about 1 inch inward. And I did that so it wouldn't leak on the inside. Behind this is silicone, and once I put that on there and snugged it down a little bit, I let the silicone dry before I tightened it. So I just snugged it down, and once that was done, I went ahead and mounted the air conditioner in, and then I put these small pieces of wood around it, which there's nothing more than plywood I cut down, 1/2 inch ply, and then I just used regular caulk around there to make sure it didn't leak. And we never had a leak here. And remember, this windows does not go up and down. This goes side by side. Alright, here's my charger controller. And if you watch some of my videos now, you will see this charger controller is outside in a box, plastic box. I did have a light hooked up. I did have a cigarette lighter hooked up. Both of these are on fuses, and both of these are actually hooked up on the load part of my charger controller. So during the day, if the lights went out, we could turn this light on, or we could plug stuff in here and charge. I have an adapter for my laptop, and we could charge my laptop off of this, or even run my laptop off of this without having to plug it in to a regular plug. And there's the light on. You can see the light to the charging controller. Now, I want to talk to you real quick about power inverters. Always look at the continuous watts. That's what you rate it by. This is a 2500 watt continuous by 5000 watt peak. I would not even go by this. If you're looking at a 2500 watt power inverter, I'd automatically subtract 500 watts from it, because 2500 watts continuous is a bit much. And when it says peak wattage, that is just for a split second. I mean, a micro of a second that the inverters can handle that much power. So whatever you do, get an inverter a little bit bigger than what you need. And like I say, this inverter would run my Frigidaire just fine. Well, my Power Bright 1100 watt inverter would not run that air conditioner. So, of course, the Frigidaire was built much better than the higher, and my Power Bright inverter will run our higher air conditioner without an issue. Right here, you can see it's on. Now, what I have here, you're probably wondering about all this mess. Alright, you see this cord right here? This is actually going to the ground on the inverter, and it's plugged in right here to this power strip. Normally, if I was going to plug it into ground, I would pull all this out. My laptop's sitting here, and there's a plug right there on that back wall. That's why this cord is so long. And normally I plug it into there, and they're going, wait, what? You plug this in? Okay, before we get to where people are freaking out, I'm pretty sure you can see this. I hope you can. What I did was I had a wire going to the ground on the inverter. On the plug end, which I purchased right here, you can buy those plugs at any Ace Hardware. Even Walmart sells plugs like this somewhat. I broke these two prongs off. Completely broke them off. And then all I left was the ground plug. Right here. This part of the plug. These were completely gone. And I have this wired up to this. You know, I'm just showing you. This is the only part that was left, which is the ground. These prongs were gone, completely gone. So I could plug this into any outlet, and the only thing it would do is run to ground. Now here the air conditioner is on, actually. I wish I would have got video of it, but unfortunately I didn't have any type of camera at the time, so all I could do is take pictures. And you can see it's barely drawing any power. Now this is off the 2 Walmart batteries. Now we would run this air conditioner up to 6 hours in the middle of summer on low. We would not turn it on high, we would run it on low. Now the higher that we have uses way less power, so we could probably run it on medium or even high and use the same amount of power as this 5,000 BTU Frigidaire. And you can see the inverter's on. It's drawing some power, but barely. Now if it was clear up here, it'd be drawing 100% of the power. If I plug in an electric space heater, I mean, it's somewhere in here. I have a video somewhere on my videos that shows a space heater. I believe it's the one where I talk about my power inverters. But that right there, normally when we ran the air conditioner, I would normally plug it straight into the electrical outlet instead of a power strip. But honestly, pulling this thing in and out with my laptop, and I had a bunch of stuff under here, and every time I did that it just fell. And it didn't do any harm to do that. Once again, I had the hot and the neutral prongs, the flat prongs broke off of this. And when we weren't running it, I guess I need to go farther this way. I apologize for me skipping so fast. Right here. If we weren't running anything, I just stuck it right there. Now here you can see how I did the inside board. I took a full piece of plywood. Well, it's not even a full piece. I'd say half a sheet. I measured in 1.5 inches to 2 inches. You can see a line here. And then I just cut out a huge section. Now this is the outside board right here. And right here is the inside lip for the window frame, the windowsill. Behind this is a metal lip. Now I have my lag bolts coming through the board on the outside. Excuse me. And through the board on the inside. You're going, well, why did I do that? I did that for stability. One, it would keep this board up while the silicone was setting up. And two, it wouldn't move. So you can see I do have fuses here. But this is how we ran our air conditioner off of our solar, our 400 watts of solar. And this, just so you know, yes, this is me. I don't have all the, well, I have some stuff here. This is midnight. So, you know, just so you know, we were in another apartment. And that's midnight. And in the other apartment, I actually was sleeping on a cot. That apartment was so small. It had enough room basically for my girlfriend's twin bed and then me having a cot. Right there. And these things are so uncomfortable, that ain't funny. I had a small piece of foam in the center to try to keep me from dying at night, and it didn't work. But right there is midnight. The Demon Kitty from HE Double Heck. And right here is how the front, you can see that, you know, on the inside. And once again, I use lag bolts. I believe that's what they're called. They're the bolts with the rounded ends on one end, and then the square metal piece, more or less, underneath, you know, just on the inside of the round bolt. I believe they use these for floors or something like that. And these bolts were way too long. I mean, these things stuck out a good 3 inches. But I already had the bolts. I forget why I bought them, but they weren't for this. And I'm going to, you know what? I already have these bolts, so I'm just going to use them. We never had any leaks with this setup this way. And you can see there the inverter's off. And once again, I had fuses on everything. Always put fuses. And you can see the light on and our charger controller's on. And you can see a gap here. If you want to fill that in, like put a piece of wood here, or 2x4 or something like that, that's fine, that's up to you. Now here, the reason I put this way, I actually should have put it over a little bit farther this way. Because the lens screen pulls out this side. Now I could get the lens screen in and out, it was just a hassle. A couple more inches this way over to the, well, it would be on your left, I believe. Would have made it so much easier. And here's the outside. I just had caulk around the wires going in. I had caulk around everything on the outside. I did have silicone behind this board. And you can see the rounded ends on the bolts. Now here's a piece of pipe I had because the wire is going, this is from my solar panels. And I had it running above the ground, literally 6-7 feet above the ground. Okay, you can see right here, there's another pipe and the wire started going up like this. So that way nobody hit it and walk into it. Now this is a different light. Now this light is wired right here onto the 12-volt cigarette lighter plug. This is a light out of my van. I did this for a reason, actually, because the light that was in this light up here burnt out. And I had to replace it. And we just didn't have the money to replace the bulb at the time. And I know bulbs are not expensive. But I put this little light on there. As you can see, it works just fine. And I did eventually replace the bulb. And the other one. There's the generator we got. If you're going solar, get some kind of generator. This is our 2300 watt. They updated. I believe it may be a little bit more than this now. But we paid $389.99. And it's 2300 watt. So it's a really good size generator. Here is my girlfriend's 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter, and it was $159. Now here's what I actually started the video on that I wanted to talk about, that I actually didn't talk about, and I'm going to make this really quick because I've been rambling here about the other stuff. I did want to show you, you can run air conditioner off of solar, but one, you have to ground your inverter. 2, your inverter has to be large enough. 3, depends on how long you're going to run it. It determines how many batteries you have to have. And 4, it also determines on how much solar you're going to have. And 5, I forget everything I've already gone through. You have to know the power consumption of whatever you're running, if I haven't already said that. And I would not try to run an air conditioner full time off of solar unless you have a massive battery bank and a lot of solar panels. For a few hours at a time, it's absolutely fine. It depends on how much power your solar has, how much power your batteries contain and can hold, and how much power that air conditioner uses. But originally I wanted to start talking about this video, this right here. So I'm just going to throw that in the end here. I was watching a video where a guy had a rain barrel system. Now his pipe was basically more or less hooked up to a gutter. And all he had was a screen over the top. You know, like a window screen. Now, he had a pipe going straight down to the ground, and then he would cap it. And because of that, if it rained, it would flush up that pipe and go straight into his rain barrels. He was using 55-gallon drums. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's a good idea to a point, but I would have to have some type of filter, because once that water fills up that pipe, any crud or junk that's coming down that gutter that gets through that screen, little pieces of sediment, dirt, little pieces of stick, small chunks or pieces of leaves, is going to go into his water barrels. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, you know what? I can make a filter out of a 5-gallon bucket that would filter all this, so only the water goes into the barrels. This is what I came up with. Alright, I didn't finish the drawing because, well, it's Windows Paint, and honestly, you can basically see what I'm talking about. Right here on the bottom, this ugly, cute green color is gravel. Small stones. The yellow is sand. Just regular playground sand will work. Alright. 2 inches of gravel on the top. Then 2 inches of sand. And then 3 inches of gravel on the bottom. So that's 2 inches up here, 3 inches, and 3 inches. On the bottom, I will have a pipe going clear across with a whole bunch of holes in it. Small holes. I've talked about making stuff with small holes before, so the water can actually go into the pipe and go out this way. With this gravel here, the sand will settle and won't go down into your water. Now, you can make this however you want, but remember, the more sand, the slower it is going to filter. And then you don't even have to have this much gravel on the top if you don't want to. But I did that 2 inches for a reason. If it's really storming and raining, this is the pipe or hose. I actually made a flex hose. Sorry, I know it doesn't look right. But this is a flex hose, or you can use just a regular piece of pipe to go down here into a fitting, and your water will fill up in here. And then it'll soak through and go out this way. Now, if you make it this way, instead of straight out the bottom, make it out the side. Once again, if you use a piece of, I hate doing this, let's see, where is that? Nope. I'm sorry about all this. Nope. I know it's not that one either. I have to find that picture. Oh, wait. It's right there. Okay. I hope you can see this. There we go. I should have finished that before I... Okay. Now, this is just a rough draft. Of course, your pipes are going to fit a lot better than this. This is just a drawing. This will either go all the way over here, so gravel can't get down in here, or I'll put an end cap on it. And there will be small holes all through this pipe, all over the place. So what's going to happen is, your water's going to come in here, start soaking through. It'll go to hit your gravel. Anything that's in your water, if for some reason you have a screen on the top and it breaks or moves or whatever, any big sediments the water's going to catch. not the water, but the gravel here. Then it'll go through a sand filter, and that'll catch any small sediments. Then it'll go through gravel again. And then there'll be a bunch of small holes in this pipe for nothing but water to get through. And then your water's going out this way. Now all this is open area. This is a 5-gallon bucket. Remember that. A food safe 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Your water comes from the top. Right here at the top, there's another pipe at the very top. Get that pipe as high as you can possibly get it. That goes out, goes down, and goes to wherever you want it to go. Now the reason I'm saying this, and you know, you can do whatever you want to with that. You know, I mean, you can put it 25 feet away from your house. The reason I'm saying do something like this. Once this water fills up, if it overfills, all it's going to do is back flush and go right back up your gutter. You want that water, that excess water, to have somewhere to go. The whole time, the water's soaking through this, and going out here. If it gets too full, it's not going to go back up the pipe. It's going to go out here and drain to wherever you want it to drain. Alright? Now doing it this way, a 5-gallon bucket could actually sit on top of a 55-gallon drum, and then you could just pipe it into the top however you wanted to from your gutter. You have to have some room here. You want that water to like maybe swirl around a little bit. You want any sediments to be caught here. Alright, let's say this was completely full up to here with sand. That would take hours, literally, for that water to drain through all that. That's not something you want. You just want to get the sediments out. Any big pieces of stick or dirt or things like that, you want that stuff out of your water. Can you drink that water? That's a trick question. If there's no sediments in your water and it's filtered, basically this is a filter system that will not kill viruses. So before you drink any of this water that comes through any type of filter like this, I would purify it somehow. Either boiling the water or use purification tablets or bleach. A small amount of bleach. But remember, if this gets too full, you know, this is just a 5-gallon bucket. The lid can come off. The water can back flush, clear back up, and just keep flushing over everything. You need to have a place for that excess water to go. And the whole time, your water's soaking in here, all the way through, getting any sediments out, and then going out here. Now, if this was sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, I would have a shut off here. I know I didn't finish this. It's ugly, but I'm using Windows Paint. And that can pipe directly into the top of your 55-gallon drum. So this could actually sit on top. And once again, some people are going, well, why don't I just put it right here on the bottom? You probably could, but then your pipe would have to go up and across this way or up this way, and you know, that would be really hard to do, because if your pipe was going up this way, it'd go right through that sand level, and to get that to stay, you know, where you had gravel around the outside, that'd be tough. And if you put it through the bottom of, say, put a T here, you're going to lose space. You want that as close to the bottom as possible. You don't want it, you know, 2 inches up. You know, because then it won't have as much stuff to filter through. And it's possible some of this sand could go a little bit down in this gravel and go into your water. You don't want that. You want to keep your water as clean as possible. And remember, if you do something like this, put a drain on it up here and drain it out somewhere away from your water barrels. or you could have this drain absolutely 100% into some type of other barrel that you could hold water for, just for, you know, doing your plants or maybe doing laundry or something like that, as long as it's filtered. But I wouldn't use that for laundry, you know, because once again, there's probably sediments in here. So, I mean, you could do that for watering the grass. I don't know what else you would use the water for, you know, in case there's any sediments in it, you know. But anyway, this is what I actually wanted to make the video on, but I got sidetracked on the solar. I did say we did run our air conditioner off our solar, and I did have pictures, but it took me forever, literally, to get the pictures off this old camera of ours. I actually had to go through using Bluetooth, because our cameras, neither one of them are actually, they have no time on them. The SIM cards aren't good anymore, and they have no internet, so I just couldn't email it to me. So I had to transfer the pictures through Bluetooth, and it took me forever to figure out how to do that with these old ancient cameras that we got. So once again, you know, I'll run through these again. Now, if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to ask me. Now remember, I did upgrade cables. All these cables have been replaced with 2-gauge welder's wire. Now this board here, this box you see, let's get here. What I did, you will actually see part of this in some of my other videos since we moved over here. My batteries are now in a plastic toolbox, and I actually cut the top of this off, and the plastic toolbox is sitting on the bottom half of this. So I actually didn't have to build anything else to raise it up, but I didn't want it too high, so I just cut the legs here, you know, took the top off and set the plastic toolbox right there. And remember, this window is sliding side by side. It does not go up and down. Make sure you have fuses. Make sure your inverter is large enough to carry what you want to carry. When it comes to air conditioners, that can be tricky, because a 5,000 BTU air conditioner may not run off of an inverter that a 10,000 BTU air conditioner will run off of. So make sure your inverter, if you want to run an air conditioner, 5 or 10,000, get at least a 1,500 watt power inverter. Now these are 110, these air conditioners. Well, 115, 120, whatever. They are not 220. And once again, you can see that is taking hardly any power. Make sure that you have your inverter grounded. Right there. Right there, that plug is hooked up to the back of this inverter, and the only thing left on this plug, these two pieces here and here, are gone. So the only thing left is this part right here, and it's plugged in right there. Make sure your inverter is grounded if you're going to be using it full time. In an emergency situation, you could probably get away with not grounding it, but if you're going to use it a lot like we did, I mean, we use this every single day in the middle of summer for 6 hours a day. So yes, we had to have it grounded. Make sure off your load. If you don't have a super large solar setup, your load is no big deal. It doesn't kick out so much power that you have to worry about hooking up something like hot water heater elements or something to kick out that extra power. But on your load, you can just hook up a light, a cigarette lighter, something like that. And of course, if you want one of these, feel free to get one of them. But remember, they grow up to be midnight. And never buy one of these cots from Walmart. I think that was a Coleman cot, the type that folds up. Oh man, if you sleep on those things for more than a couple hours, it will kill you. I know I slept on that thing for 6 months, maybe longer, and there were times I couldn't even get up. I mean, it hurt that bad. Alright, and here the air is off, you can tell. Once again, make sure you have fuses. That's just a car fuse holder with a car fuse. It's not an expensive fuse. And I have one there for this light. And that's a 10 amp fuse. I believe that was a 5 or a 3 amp. And once again, here's the outside. Yeah, Frigidaire. I really miss that air conditioner. And if you want to make some type of filter system for rainwater, this is a good way to do it. But make sure if you use a 5-gallon bucket, you have some way for that to drain out. If this gets full, you need that excess water to go somewhere else. Alright, my coffee's getting really cold, so I'm fixing to go. In fact, I believe my coffee is cold. Oh yeah, it's definitely cold. But once again, I did tell you before, we ran our solar air conditioner off our solar. There's the pictures of how I had it hooked up. Unfortunately, I do not have video of that. Our old cameras did not have video. In fact, our old cameras barely took pictures. If you have any questions for me, please in the comments let me know what your questions are or your concerns. Or if you're thinking about getting a small solar setup and want my advice on what you should do, please feel free to ask. That's why I make my videos. A lot of them is to try to help people out on certain things. And I'm fixing to go. I apologize for the length. The quality should be a little bit better. I'm not sure about the audio because my camcorder, of course, does take a tape, but I don't have a tape in it. I'm just recording straight on my laptop, so sometimes the head in there that makes the tape move, sometimes you can hear it. If you can, I apologize. Anyway, I'm fixing to go. The video is really long. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask in the comments on my videos. And if you would, I would appreciate it if you share some of my videos with someone else, and maybe that can help them out. But once again, I'm fixing to go. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Alright, thank you for watching, and everyone have a good day. Bye.